Out of all the giant monster movies we've gotten in the last 10 years, Shin Godzilla is probably my favorite. It's a film that took the seriousness and sophistication of the original 1954 movie and brought it into the modern day. A type of seriousness that's been more or less absent from the franchise since then. Yeah. Now this movie gets a lot of shade thrown at it from a large portion of the fandom for things like being too slow-paced, focusing too much on the humans, and everything you'd expect a person to say is wrong with a solo Godzilla movie. But every time I've heard someone complain about this movie, I've never heard it be about what I believe the film got objectively right. And that doesn't fall under any aspect of kaiju action, characters, or even story, but rather in the visual art of cinema. You can say whatever you want about Shin Godzilla, but the one thing this movie mastered is the cinematography. Let's start off with the film's composition. The more times I rewatch Shin Godzilla and Neon Genesis Evangelion, the more I fall in love with director Hideaki Anno's great eye for composition. Not only can he take something as simple as a shot of a payphone and make it look aesthetically pleasing, but he can also compose shots that, for lack of better words, play with the viewer. Take this scene for example. Here we see Yaguchi being informed of the radiation spike that appeared after Godzilla came ashore, and we see Negishi all the way to the left. This narrow space in between the helmets directs the viewer's eyes all the way to the left side of the frame where he's standing. But there's something else. Let's play back the scene.
A US carrier is leaving port?
Correct. We heard that Yokosuka City's radiation monitoring alert went off, and that could be why.
Let me check. I'll call the Nuclear Regulation Authority.
I have orders not to go public about this just yet, but radiation levels in the metro area have risen in the last day.
Did you catch it? If we place all four of these shots on top of each other, the point where the viewer's attention is meant to be focused gradually shifts to the left, so by the time we get to Negishi, our eyes are already focused on him. Another example is in the beginning of the movie, when Yaguchi is watching online footage of Godzilla and is informed of the Prime Minister's arrival. Our eyes are focused on the left, and once the camera cuts, we're forced to reorient ourselves to the right to find out who is speaking to him. I've heard this be referred to as visual puzzle solving, and I can see why. Another strength in cinematography that this film has is how real it makes Godzilla look. I mean, what more do I have to say? Look at that. Look how good that is. Well-crafted cinematography like this is where I think the Godzilla franchise as a whole fails. Hear me out for a minute. Let's rewind a bit to the second half of the 90s to the Gamera Heisei trilogy. A lot of people, myself included, have referred to the time this trilogy was made as when Gamera movies looked better than Godzilla movies. And that's all thanks to these two, director Shusuke Kaneko and special effects director Shinji Higuchi. When watching any of the films, it's clear that the duo put their heart and soul into every single shot, and the result was a trilogy of films that raised the bar of what suitmation films can look like. They took the stereotype of rubber suit monsters looking obviously fake and said, okay, let's see if we can change that. The use of low camera angles helped emphasize the scale of the monsters, and it made it look like there were really these giant creatures in front of the camera. Whereas the Heisei Godzilla films got comfortable with strapping the camera down to a dolly and shooting the monsters head on. Look, I'll always have love for the Heisei Godzilla movies, but come on, you can't tell me that this looks better than this. I'm not sure if Toho was afraid to get creative, but they definitely seemed to notice a missed opportunity when they had Kaneko direct Giant Monsters All Out Attack and had Higuchi co-direct Shin Godzilla. Kaneko gave Godzilla the Heisei Gamera treatment that resulted in a solid film that may have had a silly plot, but absolutely crushed it in the visual department. And Higuchi working with Anno? Well, I'll just let this shot do the talking. The point I'm trying to make here is that when executed and shot right, suitmation can look fantastic and the right cinematography techniques can make or break a film. And in this aspect, it seems that no one knows this better than these three. They know that thought out and well executed shots is one of the things that made the 1954 Godzilla movie the masterpiece that it's known as today. Even though that Shin Godzilla is motion capture and no guy in a rubber suit, if this movie would have done the cinematography any different, there's no doubt in my mind that it just wouldn't have worked the way it did. I unapologetically love Shin Godzilla and post about it a lot on my Instagram page, and every time I do, I always get a small handful of comments that express hate for this movie. Now I can handle comments bitching about how long the human scenes drag on for, or how Godzilla looks like a giant statue moving through the streets of Tokyo all day. Those arguments are totally valid, but if you ever complain about this movie's cinematography being trash, well, there's just no other way to put it. You're wrong. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and check out Anno Cinema on Instagram. It's a film analysis page run by a friend of mine that goes in depth on Hideaki Anno's work. I actually used it for some of the research I did on this video, so definitely go check it out, and I'll see you guys next time.